Hello my friends, I'm so glad you have joined me today. I'm going to tell you 3 things that I wish I had known whenever I first started playing the banjo. And I think if I would have known these 3 things, it would have really helped me with my progress a lot sooner, because there was a time and a place where I had to go back and had to start all over again because I thought I knew what I was doing, but I really wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. Let me give you these 3 tips, and hopefully if you're a beginner at the banjo, this will help you out. The very first thing that I wish that I had known was I really wish that I had purchased a strap for my banjo. Now I was 14 years old and I had basically no money, but maybe I could have asked for one or something. I just needed a strap because for the longest time the banjo just sat on my lap, and sometimes it would be sitting on my lap and the head of the banjo, the neck would be down, other times it was up. So I wasn't getting any consistency in where I was placing my hands. Sometimes they were down here, other times they were up too high. And then as I played, when I would move, especially if my hands were a little sweaty or something, it would slide against the neck there and cause friction, and the banjo head would move sort of with me. So I wasn't able to play chords and then lift off of the banjo neck there and move down without the banjo moving with it as well. So when I got a strap, I figured out real quickly that that was essential to what I needed to do when it came to playing the banjo, because then the banjo is always in one spot and I want to be able to sit down and stand up and this banjo head not move. So if I sit down, it stays there. If I stand up, it stays there as well. That way this neck is always at this angle. So when I play, I can move up and down the neck. So I can play different stuff like that, and I don't have to worry about, as I'm going up the neck, the banjo moving with me. The very first thing was I wish I would have had a strap. Let's move this closer. I feel like I'm standing in a shadow. All right, here we go. Number 2. The thing I really wish I would have done is the second thing, let's start over. The second thing that I wish I would have done is I wish I would have not paid so much attention to the books when it came to chords, like the chord shapings. Because what happened is I got these crazy different ideas that instead of my thumb being allowed to be up here, my thumb had to drop down. Okay, let me show you this book. This is a book that I got. Look how that guy's making that chord right there. Can you see that? Check that out. No one really makes a chord like that. Me, being a 14-year-old kid, was looking at that going, man, you know what? I gotta get that wrist to drop down and I gotta turn. And I was trying to do it exactly how the book says. The book also shows to make sure your thumb is directly behind there. I've got this cool double jointed thumb. I don't know if that's a real thing or not, but I've got this cool double jointed thumb and it can go flat. So yeah, I can push it back there and I can make chords. But I know a lot of people who can't bend their thumb like that and they have thumb pain from playing the banjo. Well, I figured out after a little while, I didn't need to always have my thumb back here. My thumb could actually come over this side and I could actually make chords. And my thumb did better if it was actually resting a little bit on the top here. It gave me a gauge of where I was supposed to be. Even when I'm moving up, sometimes my thumb will drop back here, but then other times it likes to stay up top there. So you don't have to stay to strict form for every single chord that you would see in a book. You don't have to do that. Find what's comfortable for you, what's comfortable for your hand, and play those chords. Now, I wouldn't recommend finding one place and just staying there. Like if I've got the neck buried into the palm of my hand, now I'm focusing on my hand. My fingers are having to do all the work. So I want to pull that palm off of the neck of the banjo and I want to allow it to move around. And then my thumb can go back there if I want it to, but it doesn't have to. That's the main thing. So I wish I wouldn't have put myself in a box when it came to chords of my thumb has to be here the entire time and I can't move it anywhere else. It has to stay right there. If I would have not done that, it would have helped me out in the long run. Save me some heartache. The third thing I wish I would have done was not stare so much at my right hand as I played. I was so focused on picking correctly down here with my right hand that I focused on that, and then I kept having to look up at my left hand over and over and over again. And it was messing up my timing, it was messing up my speed, even my accuracy. Yes, I was doing okay with my right hand, but I needed to trust the process of, okay, get your anchor hand down here, leave it there, now focus on the fretboard. I rarely ever looked at the fretboard. What I found, though, was that now as I play, I generally always look at the fretboard. Your eyes can't look at music. They can't look at your right hand and your left hand unless you've got crazy, lazy eyes and you've got a third eyeball on your head or something like that. I don't know. I'm not trashing you if you do. I'm not trying to offend anybody. So, let's continue. Or maybe I am trying to offend those three-eyed banjo players out there. Anyways, what you can't do is you can't look at three things at one time, is what I'm saying. So, we need to pick one thing, and the most important thing is to look at the fretboard as you're playing. If I'm playing something, well, I'm just doing some chords there, but what if I add in other stuff? Notice what I did there is I looked down to see where I was starting. I glanced down to make sure I was in the right position, and then I didn't look back at my pick hand again the entire time. So if I would have focused more on the fretboard as opposed to my pick hand, it would have really helped me in the long run. And there you have it, my friends. 3 main tips for you if you're beginning on the banjo. Perhaps you're not a beginner. Perhaps you just haven't thought of those before. Maybe that'll help you out. Or maybe you're stuck on a plateau. Maybe this will help you get off that plateau. I don't know. These are 3 things, and there's more of them. I can't think of them right now, but those are the 3 main things that really held me back, put me in a box whenever I was first learning. I want to give you those tips. That way you don't fall into the same trap that I did. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you next time.